Hey, what is going on, everybody? East Tactics here, coming at you with another video. And today we are going to be going over in great detail the differences between these high-end fans. So, as you guys know, over the last, 6 months, I've been going into great lengths to really not only implement these high-end fans into our vehicle, into our V4 Kraton or V5 Kraton, or even if you have the EXB. And I've learned quite a bit. And so today I wanted to make a comprehensive video that kind of just goes over everything that you need to know about these high-end fans and which one you should use, why you should use it, how to get it installed, and whether or not you should even use them at all. So first, let me kind of just go over this section right here. Okay, so all those different components you see actually came from a company called NTF. Very popular. This was my first introduction into the high-end fan arena when I learned about Nicholas Tortella. I'm probably hacking his name. And basically, he put together these packages for these high-end fans so that you can take advantage of cooling your vehicle way better. I don't know about some of you, but when you start stretching your vehicle, putting higher tooth pinion gears in, especially with your stock components, you start getting up there in the heat, as well as you want to just make sure that your vehicle is cool in general. And so I was finding that I was breaking the stock fan that was coming inside of the ESC, the stock BLX 185 ESC. I was basically just breaking those fans, and so I wanted to find a solution where I could not only provide more cooling power, but also maybe something stronger that was more bash resistant. And my first run-in when trying to understand these fans was when I ran into NTF. And so basically his fans, and this is probably the biggest complaint about the NTF packages, is they're just really expensive. To get a single fan for your ESC with the mount, which the mount that goes onto the ESC is this little silver piece right here, right there. So that mount plus this fan, I think he was running a package for $60, but it comes with a splitter. And it also comes with an adapter. Well, actually, I think he charges $10 for this special adapter, which allows you to run to your 3S battery, which is, one of the most recommended ways of actually running these high-powered fans is from a 3S battery. He's already gone through the trouble of putting together these Y splitters, putting together this special switch that basically can turn on and off, which goes directly into the balance terminal of your 3S battery. And the splitter right here allows you to run one to your ESC and then also one to your motor. So these right here are little carbon fiber like covers for the fans themselves. And he also provides you with the screws that you need to bolt into the system. So from here all the way down into this metal brace. And again, he also provides this metal connector piece, which you can get right now. For whatever reason you can't get it, but you can get it yourself instead of going through NTF through this website here. But last time I went to their website, it said that they were on basically hiatus until January. So hopefully in January you'll be able to pick up that piece again. All right. So anyway, so a lot of people kind of balk at the fact that, it costs all this money to pick up from NTF because you're spending about $60 for this setup, and then you're also spending $60 for this setup. This right here is basically a snap-on heatsink that his other fan will attach to. And one of the downsides to this thing is, if you'll notice here, I had to wire it on, and it doesn't exactly, stay on. So without me having this thing wired on, it would pop off in hardcore bashing. So this is where you start running into some of the problems that NTF presents to the table. And honestly, I think NTF came into being because he was creating high power cooling systems for basically street racers. So this is where I want to kind of go into the detail about the differences between different fans. You've got this fan right here from NTF. And then there's another. So I went out and I basically did research to find, what is the difference between these fans, and is there a specific fan that we can get as bashers that's going to be tougher? So, all right. So first thing I want to show you is, as many of you know, I did testing on these fans to basically see if I could bash with them and if they didn't break. And my first run out there, I ended up breaking the fans. And here's what happened to this fan. So check this out. Coming down on a hard landing, completely annihilated this fan. When you flip this fan over, you can see that the actual whole setup here, this whole setup is basically attached by these little tiny points right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. And notice how thin they are. I mean, there's literally like no meat right there at all. Taking a look at this one. I haven't even ran this fan, and I was basically just pressing on it right here. And you can see where it's already broken right there. Look at that. So the entire fan basically just drops out like this. Just drops out. When you come down hard on the ground, this whole thing just drops right out, which is basically why on my video, when I created a shock mitigation tactic video for installing these onto your ESC, I put washers underneath this to prevent this from basically just dropping out like this, which worked out huge. In fact, I went back, if you remember the video, and with this fan, did the exact same jump and came down. And believe it or not, that fan is still working, which says a ton about the shock mitigation tactic for your ESC and these type of fans. So no matter what fan you end up putting on, if you end up going with one of these high-end fans, you definitely want to implement that tactic, because it works so well that even this chintzy fan still worked after I did a hardcore landing on concrete, no less. So, okay, so this is basically why you should not go with the NTF fans. Okay. Now, one of the nice things though about the NTF fans is that they're powerful fans. In fact, they're like over 1 amp of power gets pushed to these things, and so a lot of people really like these fans because they're so powerful. All right, so now let's take a look at these fans that I got from eBay. First thing you're going to notice about these fans is, see how much fatter this is? A little bit difficult to see it, but there we go. From right there all the way along here, all the way up to there. That's how much stronger the attachment is of this fan to the housing. Way, way stronger. This is going to be a ton less likely to break. Okay? This fan right here is great, but here's the downside to this fan. So the power on this fan, if you look, is 0.24 amps, which this one right here from NTF is 1 amp. So 25% as strong to this 100%. So in a second, I'll show you the difference in blowing power. So the trade-off here that you're probably noticing is for more power, it takes up more of the internals and it gives you less ability to attach the fan itself to the sidewall. So the trade-off here is you're like, okay, if I want to have a powerful fan, then it's going to be a weaker fan. It's not going to be as bash friendly. It's not going to be as strong. Or you can go with this fan, which is 25% of the power. Okay, so let's hear the difference in the power then, so we can get that understanding out of the way. Right. So you'll notice that the NTF fans, they only have a black and a red wire. And really that's all you're ever gonna need to hook these to your battery. You'll notice these fans came with a red, a black, and a blue one. Well, you don't need the blue one. All you really need is the black and the red one. Okay? So, since this fan is obviously completely haggard, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this piece and we're gonna reuse it. I kind of need something to pinch this right here because I don't want to mess with this end. I just want to kind of just leave it as is and even keep this wire braid material on. All right, so all right, let's just kind of temporarily hook these together so you guys can hear the power of this fan. Turn on the fan. Okay. All right, now let's hook this up to this one. Okay. So the real question is that decrease in power gonna not keep your motor or your ESC cool enough? And honestly, I think that it's probably going to keep your components cool still. So I would definitely recommend this fan at 0.24 volts over the NTF fan, for the sheer fact of how much stronger it's going to be and how much more bash resistant it's going to be. Here, let me go ahead and cut back to the other video, or to the other. All right. So the biggest thing that I've learned about these fans is that you've got to basically take a close look at the way they're built, because these ones are going to break on you so fast. And I hope that Nick over at NTF watches this video and actually converts over to something different for people that want his bash, like a bash version of his NTF setup. But if he's going to want to have a basher ready fan, he cannot use these ones, or he should not use these ones. Now, this is the thing that I'm the most excited about sharing with you guys in this video. In doing my digging and my due diligence, I found a fan that not only has more meat as to where it's attached, and get this, this fan is a 1 amp fan, which is not as strong as this one, but it's definitely much stronger than this one. You can see how those barely attach versus how that not only is attached along this seam right here, but it's also attached along this angle here, so it's attached from there all the way across. This fan right here is a 1 amp fan, but much sturdier and robust in the strength. And I got this fan, a pack of 3, believe it or not, from AliExpress. Here's basically the image, so you can look at the part number there, and you can look that part number up specifically, because this fan right here is going to be, in my opinion, the best of all worlds. It's going to have that 1 amp power. So let's go ahead and plug one of these up. Nice, right? So that is probably the biggest thing that I want to share with you guys in this video today. Not all of these fans are the same. They're not built the same. They have different amperages, and they also have different structural integrity to their build. This right here, this specific model, has the best of both worlds. It's got the strength, it's got the power, and it's going to be what I use moving forward. And so now, what I've been wanting to do is, as you know, this is the NTF fan that survived that gnarly landing. Even though it's built like complete trash, I was able to, with the shock mitigation tactics, which, as you guys can see if you look close, there's sorbothane on all 4 of these on the top. There's also a layer of the sorbothane. Let me get my light over here. There's also a layer of the sorbothane on the bottom 4 corners here. And then inside, directly below the fan itself, here, the NTF fan itself survived, which is saying a ton. But now I'm going to be able to put these fans in there, which are going to have a way stronger structure. I'm still going to incorporate the padding, and these are going to be bash ready fans. These fans are going to be able to survive some hardcore bashing, whereas this particular brand, no bueno. So now I'm gonna wrap this video up, because the main thing that I wanted to share with you guys was just basically the differences in the quality and the build of these high-end fans. But now I'm gonna actually go ahead and implement an installation of one of these fans onto my motor, and I have decided not to go with this NTF clip-on heatsink. I found another heatsink with some modifications from Yeah Racing that I'm going to be using to install this fan on there, and I'm going to be incorporating some of this sorbothane material into this install. So that'll be my next video, so watch that and you'll get the scoop on what I do. And real quick, as kind of a last thing I wanted to talk about before I ended this video, was basically just kind of a breakdown of the price. Anyway though, for like just the fan for your ESC, you're looking at $60. Of course, it's going to come with a splitter, which is useful to have if you plan on running a fan to your motor and your ESC. And then also for an additional $10, you're going to, by request, he'll make one of these for you so you can hook up to your 3S battery. Now you do have the option to run these fans directly into your ESC at whatever voltage your ESC is outputting. So if your ESC is only outputting 6 volts, you're not going to run full power to these. If it's running 7.4 volts, you're still not going to run the full power, and it won't be as loud as what you heard in the video. Obviously a 3S battery is 11.1 volts, which basically, you know, maxes these out as far as power. That's why, you know, people recommend using the 3S battery. It also kind of draws from the battery instead of taking from the life of your vehicle. So you're not going to drop your runtime from say 25 minutes to 20 minutes because of these fans. So, and where you saw me install mine up here with the strap, it actually really balances out the vehicle. Actually, I put it on this side because the weight of the battery kind of offsets it a little bit in my opinion, so I like it. Anyway, without getting too long-winded, so you're looking at spending about 60 bucks, but it comes with all those little things. When you go with this option, then you're basically piecing together all of the stuff you're going to need. You're going to basically need to get your own set of screws, which, there you go. I have, I'll create a master list in my links, so you can check the description for a link for basically where to get all the stuff that you need to get if you're going to do it yourself. Okay, so you can buy this kit of bolts and screws or whatever. I think it was like around 10 bucks, right? So to pick up one of these fans, if you want to go with the slightly stronger build but a little bit less power, then you're looking at about $7, maybe some shipping, so say $10, and you'll get a couple of these fans. So then you got to buy your bolts, right? Then the next question is, how are you going to bolt it to your vehicle? So you're going to need to pick up one of these on your own, which is about $10 or $15. And currently the website is down, but hopefully it'll be up soon. So you're going to need to get one of those. Okay. If you do want to take advantage of the Sorbothane tactics, then watch my video on installing shock mitigation into your ESC or shock mitigation into your NTF fans. And you'll need the longer screws, which you'll get here to do it. And then you'll be able to put the Sorbothane throughout the build. So like I said, $60, you get all the little accessories. You're looking at, $10 for the fans, $10 for the screws, $15 for the bracket mounting system, so and then you're going to be doing this stuff yourself. You're going to be, snipping these off, and then if you don't have like this kind of stuff lying around from either, an old fan or something, then you're going to want to pick up some JR connectors, which I'll also include JR connectors in the DIY master list. So if you want to piece it together, you pick up some JR connectors as well. So you can kind of see how NTF doesn't necessarily, it does cost more, but he's done a lot of the legwork for you. Whereas if you want to go the DIY route, you're kind of piecing together all these little miscellaneous parts and components to put everything together. Okay, so there's that. Then there's this fan right here. It costs like literally I think it was $5 for the fans and another maybe $5 for shipping. I got 3 of the fans. And these are the fans, again, that I would recommend. They're way more high powered and they're still pretty sturdy, right? So then you're gonna wanna get, and this is basically the wiring that these come with. As you can see, I've snipped the yellow and blue here already, and just using the red and black. So you're looking at 60, I don't know, maybe 45, but you're gonna end up getting a whole bunch of screws. You're gonna end up getting a kit with the JR connectors if you don't already have them. You're gonna come away with some extra components that you'll be able to use later down the road if you do the DIY route with either of these. So as far as exact pricing, again, like I said, $10 for the fans, $10 for the screws, that's $20. Then you're looking at $35 for that, so $35. If you end up wanting to get something like this, then you're looking at another maybe $10, so $45. If you're in need of this type of stuff to make these screws flat, then you're looking at another maybe $8. So it's gonna be around $60 just in these 2 arenas. You end up with extra goodies. So guys, it makes absolutely no sense to spend $120 on NTF products, even though you get all these little miscellaneous things, because it's just way outrageous in price. When you can go and spend, what did I come up to? $55, $60 for going with this DIY setup. Oh yeah, and if you do want to end up, picking up your own heat sink, which I wouldn't recommend going with this one. I'm actually fooling around right now with a Yeah Racing, where I've been putting I put my own holes for these 40 millimeter fans. So I just like how this goes all the way around, you know what I mean? And so I'm fooling around with that right now. I'll be making a video kind of showcasing how I'm installing that soon, and I'll drop it soon. But yeah, it makes way more sense to go DIY, and I'll put all the pieces that you need, at least most of the pieces that you need, in my master link, so check that out. And that's basically the smartest thing to do. I do got to give a shout out to Hardcore RC. He kind of dropped a video on this whole concept months ago, and you know, it's a great video. And so anyway, his video is really good too if you want to get the scoop. He kind of goes into a little bit more detail on if you need to make your own JR connectors, how to do that, and you know, like heat shrinking this stuff together, you know, when you're connecting it to the RC. And I believe that he plugged his fans directly into his ESC because he's got the EXB, which is running 7.4 volts. The BEC is running 7.4 volts. So he's not quite getting full power out of his fans, but he's getting enough, you know, to keep his vehicles cool. Doing the whole 3S battery thing is just kind of like a overkill. Let's keep your RC, you know, chilling in the shade during 120-degree weather in Arizona, and you're still running cool. So anyway, guys, once again, I really appreciate you watching my videos. You know, check out the links in my description for not just, you know, the DIY links on how to make these fans, but also just, you know, links for all the products that you're going to need for whatever you know, you're working on. I couldn't find this exact thing, like literally this exact thing, anywhere actually, so it's kind of annoying. But I did find this actual switch, and you know, you can basically retrofit. You know, I did find another component that has this end on it and this end, so you can just basically buy the little 3 things that I've got in the list, and then you could pull this thing apart. Looks like it's got 2 screws here, and just kind of retrofit your own switch together with some of those parts that I'll leave in that master link. So check out that link if you want to do this whole thing DIY. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video on the differences between the quality and make and build of these high-end fans. East Tactics, out.